Kaiser University can give you the education you need to become a sonographer. As a sonographer, you are an important and respected member of a healthcare team in a hospital or imaging center. Call Kaiser University at 1-888-957-3435 to get started.
Now, Southwest Florida's #1 primetime newscast, Fox 4 News at 10.
Downpours and thunderstorms dominating Southwest Florida this afternoon. You can see drivers in Cape Coral having a rough time with it. Open visibility out on the roads today, but it's not over yet. As we take a live look at our Doppler radar, you can see storms continuing to develop in Southwest Florida. Good evening. Thank you for choosing Fox 4 News at 10. I'm Warren Wright, joined by Storm Patrol's Tony Sadiku in the Weather Center with more on current conditions. Tony, are we in for a messy Monday or what?
Absolutely. We've seen this setup yesterday, and unfortunately, it's pretty much the same setup that we'll see to start off the work week. But as we dive right into radar, where we're tracking showers and storms still developing, we saw a little bit of the activity taper off, but now the activity is still developing and through parts. So we look at Doppler radar, seeing how conditions played out. Going to zoom into this particular cell off there in the eastern, northeastern parts of Lee County. This cell is tracking north and westward and may impact communities closer to Tucker's Corner as it continues to push off into Charlotte County. So we move a little bit further north, we see light to moderate rains in Charlotte County, where they've been dealing with pretty much the activity nonstop this evening. And this particular stronger downpour out there pretty much hugging the coast there in Pine Island, stretching all the way down to parts of Sanibel and the coast, and this should continue to pretty much wash out towards the west there. Overnight, not expecting a whole lot of activity in terms of the rain chances. I'm thinking we'll see clearing skies, temperatures nice and actually comfortable thanks to the rain and cooled air right now. Looking for lows about the middle 70s, drying out as well. But coming up, we're talking tropics, breaking down the forecast for the Monday rain chances, which I do think will be wet. Of course, we'll have your extended forecast coming up as well.
All right, thanks, Tony. Now, if you're seeing rain, take a picture or send some video and send it to Storm Patrol at Fox 4 Now so you can be part of our Storm Patrol coverage. Well, the firing of Fort Myers Police Chief Doug Baker is now a talking point in the three-way race for the Fort Myers Ward 2 City Council seat. The termination of Baker coming off the heels of a controversial arrest, all recorded by police dashcam video. Officers cuffing NFL player Nate Allen and hauling him downtown, accusing him of a crime he didn't commit. Police even went on to recommend he be charged. The state attorney refused, and after much protest, the police chief ordered an internal review. The results of that review revealed discrepancies in what the chief claimed he said and when he called. Baker claiming he called a police captain at a particular time and ordered Allen's release. The captain said it was a missed call and they didn't speak. And when the chief was asked to explain the discrepancy, he said, quote, "I can't." Now, each of the candidates are voicing their opinions about Baker's removal from office and the consequences that come with it. 400 Corners' Malcolm Johnson spoke with each of the candidates to get their thoughts on the chief being fired and what it means for the future of Fort Myers.
There's campaign signs planted all over Dunbar for the three men running for Fort Myers Ward 2 City Council. And after City Manager Billy Mitchell fired Police Chief Douglas Baker for the wrongful arrest of NFL player Nate Allen, each of them are weighing in on changes necessary in the department. Johnny Streets served over 20 years with FMPD.
Restructuring, training, we need to move forward and correct the things that haven't been corrected. So even if it's changing the positions, moving people around.
I would like to see a national search done. I would like for the next police chief to be a city resident and it be put in the contract that the police chief must live in the city of Fort Myers, and I would like for them to live in Dunbar.
Stephen Bianco is a former state trooper from New Jersey.
We must have a third-party evaluation done by an outside consulting company that understands the inner workings of a police department. It lets us know what we are currently doing best and what we are currently doing wrong.
In a 646-page report, Mitchell outlined what Baker and the department did wrong in mishandling the arrest of Allen. 30-year department vet Dennis Eads is now the interim police chief, a solution the candidates feel may or may not be permanent.
Let's see what he does in the interim period, what he does with the organization. I believe everybody should receive an opportunity at a position.
I believe that you have to go for an outside person you need to have a national search.
This is not time to have someone there that's going to be a caretaker, you know, as we selected an interim. No, you have to work, you know, because we have some issues that need to be dealt with immediately.
Mitchell, who's set to retire September 30th, says it will be up to the new city manager to hire a new chief. Malcolm Johnson, Fox 4, in your corner.
Now, early voting for the Ward 2 race begins September 8th. The primary election is September 15th. So how long will Dennis Eads remain as the interim chief of police? That will most likely be a topic of discussion at tomorrow's city council meeting. City manager Billy Mitchell is retiring in 6 weeks. He stated he is doing nothing beyond appointing Dennis Eads as interim chief. Any other changes, he says, will have to come from the city council. On Friday, the mayor stated that he's not sure what will happen. The council may decide not to do anything until after they select a new city manager. It's been almost 2 months since a Bonita Springs doctor was murdered in her home, and so far, no arrests have been made for the violent death of Dr. Teresa Sievers. And tips in the case have slowed down. But Fox 4's Adam Pinsker spoke with a former police chief who says this doesn't mean progress is not being made in terms of tracking down the killer.
Well, Warren, patient confidentiality could be holding up this case. Since the victim is a doctor, police may need to access patient records so they can follow up on all their leads. 7 weeks ago, this Bonita Springs neighborhood woke up to a disturbing scene. A well-known holistic doctor, Teresa Sievers, found dead in her Jarvis Road home. Private investigator Walter Zalisco isn't surprised the Lee County Sheriff's Office doesn't have a suspect.
Most of the homicides that are committed, the suspect or the actor is known to the victim.
Sheriff Mike Scott says Sievers was targeted, and that could add another layer to the investigation should detectives have to pour through patient records. Those files are protected under the Health Insurance and Portability Act, or HIPAA.
There's certain ways that you can access them, but they would have to go through a court order. But there would be thousands of files that the police would have to be sifting through.
Zalisco, who has more than 3 decades of law enforcement experience, says investigators are being tight-lipped for a reason, regardless of how much information they have.
Homicide cases normally take a long time to solve, especially when you have no immediate suspects or persons of interest.
Even neighbors living near the scene haven't heard anything new.
One of my neighbors across the street, he basically, a lot of times he'll find out more information than I do, and nobody really has heard anything yet.
Now, Zalisco says crime scene investigators need to make sure there is enough evidence to make an arrest and that the right person is charged, because if the suspect is acquitted, they cannot be tried for the same crime again. In the studio, Adam Pinsker, Fox 4, in your corner.